The Celtics are keeping the city of Boston alive and well and going. The Walker Buehler signing, fine. It's not lighting the city on fire. And we sure should know the Patriots and the Bruins are not either. The Celtics, the world champions, God's gift to the game of basketball, those are the ones keeping it alive. And specifically Jayson Tatum, who, is a guy we need to defend all the time. I don't really think we need to. I think there's just a weird kind of rating of Jayson Tatum, I guess. Because all the people that shit on him think that other people think he's the best player in the league. And Celtics fans don't think that. I think most of us are in a pretty comfortable spot with him being somewhere between the 4th and 7th best player in the league. And, not absolutely stuffing the stat sheets because he's got the best team in the league and has some great talent around him. And that great talent around him, people want to use that against him rather than for him, rather than the fact that it was one of the, I would say last year's Celtics team is one of the 10 or 15 best NBA teams of all time. And he was the best player on it. So anyway, Tim Bontemps put out this straw poll at the end of last week for the NBA MVP. 100 people voted in it, a lot of whom will actually be voting for the MVP come the end of the season. And right now, Jayson Tatum came in 4th. But he didn't earn a single first place vote from those 100 ballots. And so he responded because, he and Jaylen Brown, as much as they might say they don't like it, they definitely take those things personally. He had one of his best games ever against Chicago on Saturday. An unbelievable second half. 43 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists. 43-point triple-double. First time in Celtics history, which is a pretty good history, that a player ever tallied 40-plus points, 15-plus rebounds, and 10-plus assists. In fact, he was the first Celtic to have a 40-point triple-double since Larry Bird. That's pretty good company. And the numbers all season long are proving that he absolutely should be in that conversation for the MVP. 29 points a game, 9 rebounds, 6 assists on 46% shooting. None of those things are earth-shatteringly good, right? 29 points, though, that's 6th in the league. 9 rebounds, top 20 in the league. 6 assists a game, top 30 in the league. 46%, 69th in the league. It's great. It's hilarious. But to do that, all those things on a consistent basis every night, 82 games a year for the best team in the league and the most hunted team in the league, and we're getting the most attention from the other team, that is impressive. And if you watch the Celtics every night, you'll realize how impressive it is because you see that, Tatum always wants to get points. Don't get me wrong. And his shooting efficiency hasn't been as great as it was the first couple games of the year when we thought he'd all figured it out. But when you watch every night, you'll see that Tatum is going to do anything the team needs for him to win. And apparently these ball knowers on social media did not see that in the postseason. And I thought it was on great full display, especially in the finals, man. And that game 5, he was the best player on the floor in the finals. But people would say, oh, he shot 2 of 7 from 3. It's like, well, okay, he got double teamed all night. He was finding the open man all night. He was drawing defenders away from the paint. If you watch the games, you see Jayson Tatum's value. Does that mean he's the best player in the league? No. Again, I'm not going to argue that he's the best player in the league. But when you are talking about value across the board, it's going to be tough at the end of the year to find someone with more value than Jayson Tatum. And Jaylen Brown will be in that conversation as well, as they should be. But here's what Jayson Tatum said after the game. We're a really, really good team with so many talented players. I'm probably not going to put up the same numbers as some of those other guys in the MVP race he's talking about. That's perfectly fine with me, especially what we did in June last year. That's the main goal here. Not for me to win the MVP, but for us to play at a high level and compete for championships year in, year out. If I accomplish that along the way, that'd be amazing. But the main goal is for everybody to feel involved and play a part in us doing something special. And it's going to sound like, just some fodder for Celtics porn kind of thing. But they don't just say that. They do go out there and do it. I talked about it earlier. Like Tatum and Brown certainly put up some great performances after they feel they were slighted. This for Tatum after that poll. Jaylen Brown having the 40-point game in the conference finals the day after it was announced he did not make the All-NBA team. And having that unbelievable game-tying three-pointer in game one of the final or the conference finals. Like, these guys do hear it and understand it, but they have shown in their play the last year that they don't let it get to them in the case of having it take away from the team goals. Because honestly, you've got two MVP candidates most years in Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, all NBA guys. You've got guys in Derek White and Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis who are good enough to make all NBA teams, but don't, because there is a singular goal on this team. And you saw it last year. Like, no one guy is any higher than any other. Tatum might take more shots than the other guys, but they will all do what it takes to win. And it sounds cliche and it sounds, homerish, but you saw it. You saw it in the run last year. In fact, it's not like everyone was saying after the end of Game 5, like, yep, definitely Jaylen Brown MVP of the NBA Finals. He deserved it, don't get me wrong, but you had great games from Tatum. You had a great first two games from Drew Holiday. You had an unbelievable performance in Game 1 from Porzingis. It's like that was a showing of just how special that team was, because they can hit you from all angles, man. And it doesn't matter whose night it is. They'll go and they'll figure it out, and they'll do whatever it takes to win the game. And that's why this team was able to go out there and win the title and have one of the best teams of this century, because they didn't care who it was. And they had 5 guys, 6 or 7, of course, when you include Horford and Peyton Pritchard, that could do a lot of things well and didn't care who got the limelight. That's why the Celtics won the title last year, and that's why they are on the collision course to do it again. And typically the MVP is going to go to the best player in the league. That's across all sports. It's tough to argue against that at this point. We know what that is. But if we're taking the value in most valuable player, it's going to be tough to argue against Tatum. But people will look and say he's got all these other great players on his team. And that's not the only mark of value, but that's how a lot of people are going to look at it. Who had the worst team around them that still got to a good spot? That's what they'll look at. And whatever. But you look at the best player on the best team who is sacrificing shots and limelight for the chance to go and win the NBA championship. To me, that would make a pretty good case for NBA MVP, and a guy who's going to be top 20 in all the major categories as well. Like, find someone who can do all of that. Tatum, Jokic, Luka, those guys all can. So am I saying he should definitely win it? No. But he's going to be in that conversation again, and his time is going to come. I think there is going to be a year where he is going to win the MVP, if not the scoring title. I do think that's going to come, because I think there's still more things he can improve on in his game. He can still become a better shooter. Like, that remains to be seen. So anyway, Jayson Tatum for MVP.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.